Hey y'all, that ICU nurse here. And tonight we're going to talk about something serious, and it might be kind of hard for some of you to watch, but it is so important. For months, nurses and doctors have been screaming, if only we could get you guys in the hospital, let you see what was happening behind closed doors in the COVID units. Thanks to Wes LEMD and ICU doc at Vanderbilt, I have something I can show you. A patient of his thought it was so important that you guys see this that he allowed him to share it with the world. And before anyone in the comments tries to come and say I'm fear-mongering, I'm trying to educate you because everyone deserves to understand the reality of the situation and both sides of the argument. Here's the side that I know. I know that a lot of people like to talk about a 99% survival rate from COVID, but what they don't like to talk about is the people who survive their COVID infection in the ICU and the horrors that they have to go through to fight for their life. So when we talk about the effects of COVID, we don't just look at a mortality rate. And this is why.
Quickly, but on the backside of COVID is people who are left on a ventilator with a tracheostomy and a breathing tube, which takes them to long-term mechanical ventilation.
Okay, let's break that down. What you saw is a surgically implanted airway that goes into that man's trachea. He doesn't breathe through his mouth anymore. He breathes through a hole in his neck. He can't talk, and he can't even decide when he breathes. He has a machine telling him how fast to breathe, how deep to breathe, and how often to do it. Because unlike us, his lungs are still not strong enough after weeks on the ventilator in order to regulate that.
Will develop in the lungs so that a tube comes out of the chest, and we have to drain fluid like this out of the chest. And this bubbling here.
Okay, let's break it down. What you saw there is called a chest tube. This often goes in the space called the pleural cavity. And we actually see this a lot after COVID. Due to the high peak pressure we have to put you on the ventilator in order to sustain your body's life. I wish I could say this was uncommon, but unfortunately I take care of people with maybe 3 of these at a time. Also, not comfortable.
In the bed, on the ventilator, to where their feet and legs lose their ability to have strength.
All right, think about it, people. You've been laying in a bed, paralyzed, most likely, and sedated in order for us to be able to keep your body alive for weeks at this point. Most people cannot move. We protect all of the bony surfaces to try and keep you from getting bed sores. And did you see that tube that looked like it had in it? Well, that's because it did. And that tube went up into his rectum. So don't come to me talking about a 99% mortality rate.